Hi friends, I'm a space fun person now. Get on board. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So over this past weekend when I was cleaning after a guest left at the AG Wagon, my vacation rental here in College Station, Texas, I was kind of taking pictures and showing you guys as I went along. You can follow me at Go Budget Girl. And I asked for questions about owning a vacation rental and renting and hosting on AirBnB. And I got absolutely overwhelmed with so many questions, which is wonderful. So I answered some on there, but I'm also going to go through some of the most asked questions in this video. So stay tuned if you want to know how much profit I'm making and all the other AG Wagon things. By the way, if you want to see what the hell I'm talking about, I bought a 1984 vintage Holiday Rambler travel trailer and spent 4 months renovating it into the cutest Texas themed Airbnb or short-term vacation rental. You can see the original wagon here. You can see what it looked like after I finished it here. It has been open for rentals since the end of December, and I actually got booked for the week of Christmas, the week of New Year's, and I just had my third guest leave. So I am still figuring this out, but you know what? I've been transparent on the internet here for 7 years, and I'm not going to stop now. So I'm going to tell you everything I know, and we'll update as we go. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for 95,000. That's amazing. I would love to get to 100 this year and just share more money stuff with you. So let's go. All right, so first up, am I making a profit? Kinda. In December, I made, off of the 2 rentals, I made $492, and that was for the week or a few days around Christmas and like kind of the week before New Year's. I had some big discounts since they were my very first days. I was trying to rack up reviews, and I now have 3 5-star reviews. Yay! But my expenses for December were $1,861. So that does include lot rent, but I was also, December was the last month, I was like fixing up the place, getting everything in there. I had to pay someone to fix a couple of propane leaks that were happening and some other hired out stuff. So I kind of am counting most of those expenses into like the setup costs. So going forward, it'll be more reasonable. So I'm going to lot all of the setup costs for the 4 months, which is about 15 grand. I'll update you guys on that soon. And now going forward, month to month, I'll have expenses for the property and profits. This month so far, I'll go ahead and tell you in January, I have made $193 and I have another person booked for about $200 later in the month. I have this upcoming week marked off because I have to go home. My dad died. So I'm not going to be in town for that. I marked it off, so there's not a possibility for me to get an additional rental there, but I could potentially get a rental the last week of January. However, just with the 2 reservations I have, I am going to make about $500, and my total lot expenses are about $480. So that's lot rent, electric, water, sewer, internet, all bundled into one. I also had a couple of expenses so far this month. I bought a little Texas waffle maker to add to the camper for 16 bucks. Got an oven mitt, coffee scoop, and some coffee for it that falls under amenities, and some caulk and paint, which totals up my total expenses to $525.03. So if I don't get another booking this month, I will not make a profit this month. However, this is the off season pretty much everywhere. School is not really in yet. I'm back at work, but students are not back yet. It's the off season. It's winter. I was not anticipating making a huge profit. I'm actually a little surprised I was able to rent out the thing much at all in like December, January, February, other than holidays. I do have a Valentine's Day booking, which I'm really looking forward to. So I anticipate making a lot more in the warmer months and in the school months when people are coming here for Parents' Day weekend and other events in town, that kind of thing, and especially football games eventually. So technically not currently. I am over the core expenses right now, but we will get there. Next question. What is your break even? So like I just said, my total expenses for the actual lot, rent, electricity, everything like that is going to be about $480, $500. So at an $85 a night rate, hoping eventually to, in the warmer months, to get that up to about $99 a night. I need about 5 nights to stay, 5 to 6 nights for someone to stay, and then anything above that will be profit unless I have additional expenses. Next is what is my nightly rate. Right now it is $80 to $85. I have it flexing between those just because I want to book up as much as I can. Eventually I'd like to get it to about $99, which is very competitive with this area. You can't get like a hotel room with just a bed for about that. I do know someone with an Airstream that's charging about $150 a night, but I'm not sure how much he's booking up, so we shall see. Next, what timing do I have for profiting or recouping investments? So as I said, I spent about $15,000 on this. And if we just broke it down like nightly cost to total investment, if nightly cost is going to be $9,900 and my total investment is $15,000, that would mean I need 150 nights to recoup my investment. However, we do have expenses. So minus the lot rent, I think it's going to take me a couple of years. There will be times when the income is higher. There will be times when the income is less. And also, I'm not going to be at this campground forever. So that's going to change. So I don't have an exact amount of time that it's going to take for me to recoup my investment. But all in, I think that 15 grand is pretty cheap for what is essentially a real estate investment. And once I recoup that cost, since I own it outright, it's just going to be profit, which is amazing. A quick interlude for today's sponsor. Since you are here and learning about my experiences with Airbnb, I think that you would love Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. Skillshare actually has some really cool classes about creating your first Airbnb or vacation rental, as well as tons of other amazing courses. If you're interested in Airbnb, I think this class by Jerry Banfield is really neat. It's about Airbnb experience creation. So he goes over how to plan for and implement a really neat and unique Airbnb experience down to how to take photos, how much prices to charge, picking the perfect title for your listing, and more. If you would like to try out Skillshare, the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare to explore their creativity. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Next question. Do I include the amenities and extras that I provide when calculating profit, and what are my per stay expenses? Excellent question. Yes, I am calculating anything that I need to purchase for the camper in the expenses category. So counting against the income that I make. That includes cleaning supplies. That includes my snacks. That includes all the stuff that I've put in the bathroom as far as guest amenities that they can take if they need. All of that stuff is included. It just comes out minus, and I'll see what profit I get each month. Next, and what are my per stay expenses? So we have to calculate in, and I'm not buying all of these every single month, but cleaning supplies, paper towels, other paper products like toilet paper, snacks, coffee, water. I provide water. I've been providing a bottle of sparkling cider, like a big bottle for all of the guests that come. Not everyone uses it, so that's like a $2 thing. I've been buying the snacks in bulk, the amenities in bulk, and I calculated it out on Instagram, but it's between like $6 and $12 per stay right now. That will get lower, and that's a very high estimate. I actually don't think it's that much. The main thing of it is the film. So I have an Instax camera that I've left in the camper for people to use. I bought a big bulk pack of like 12 things of film for about $80. Maybe it was 10, but I've been loading film into this camera, and every single guest so far has used it. They've taken pictures, they've left one in the guest book, and honestly, it's my favorite thing about all of this. They get like an instant printed souvenir. They leave behind a spare photo in the guest book, and I get to see their smiling faces. 100% worth it, and that's about $5 per stay. And not everyone is using all 10 of the photos that come in that cartridge. So if there are 6 or more left, I don't change it out. I just leave those 6 for the next guest. Next, have the previous owners seen my work? Yes, the woman of the couple who sold it to me, I messaged her. I actually offered the owners a free 2-night stay if they ever come down here, and they haven't taken me up on that, but they did say it looked very nice in an Instagram message, so I'm glad that they approve. Next, what are my football season rates going to be? Probably around $250 a night. And I know that's going to blow some of you guys' minds, but That's very standard around here. Texas A&M University football games are huge deals. I work here and I don't get it because I'm not really a sports person, but all of the Airbnbs, all of the hotels get completely sold out, and that's the rate that people are willing to pay. It's a vacation. You don't have to book it at that rate, but I'm probably going to try for about $250 a night for football games. And I know personally people who do $300, $350 and they get booked. Next, where did I get insert thing here? All right, so I have a guide, so I don't have to keep answering this. I don't mind at all, but I do have a guide on my website that shows every single thing you can see in my Airbnb tour, everything that's in there that I didn't buy secondhand, and where you can get it. So I have Amazon links. I also have an Amazon shop that has an AG Wagon folder where you can see where I got my quilt, where I got blah, 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 blah. So if there's anything you see that you love, you can get it too. And I will link those down below. How many people can stay in the AG Wagon? It is designed for 2 people. This is a 24-foot, 1-bedroom, 1 short queen bed camper that is meant for 2 people. I do have a couch that you could potentially sleep on, and I have sheets for it, but I do not encourage that. If someone messages me saying like, hey, I've got like a 4-year-old who's going to sleep in the bed with us, yeah, that's fine. Or if they have a young kid that wants to sleep on the couch, but it is not that comfortable. It's meant for like lounging, not sleeping. So it's absolutely a 3-person max. I do not know where you could fit another person, and I doubt it would be a comfortable stay. So that's what I have it set as. On Airbnb, I have it set as 2, but 3 could feasibly fit potentially. Next, what is behind the name, the AG Wagon? So if you didn't know, I work at Texas A&M University in College Station, Texas, sometimes called Aggie Land. And our students and our former students and our faculty and staff are all known as Aggies. And that's because the history of Texas A&M is that we used to be an agricultural and mechanical college, and it was a men's only institution. Obviously, we've moved on from that and it was a military institution, but we're still called Aggies. And so Aggie is trademarked, as is almost everything else within the Texas A&M universe, but you know it's not Ag. So the AG Wagon is an Aggie themed or Texas themed camper stay, and that's where that came from. And a lot of the people who come here will appreciate that, and they'll get it. They'll get the joke. We like it. Next, is the AG Wagon on my property? No. Currently, I am renting a spot at a local RV park. It's very lovely. There are all sorts of amenities on a beautiful campus, but I do pay $465 a month for that, plus about $20 extra for electricity, sewer, water. I own a duplex, but I do not have any like land. I'm really hoping to purchase some land this year to put the AG Wagon on, and potentially some others. But right now, as a way to make money off of this venture, it is at a park. Next, how do people check in and out? I am not a fan of having to meet a human person to get keys or like be let in by an owner when I'm traveling. So I have a lockbox on the camper. It is, the locks are changeable, and you get a code before you check in. You spin the little thing, get the key out, and that's your key for the stay. You roll it after, and then I change the code. Next, is it pet friendly? No, unfortunately, you guys, I love my animals. I really, really do. But the AG Wagon is very small, and it is an investment of mine. And I'm very concerned that if an untrained animal was left in there, they might tear it up. They might get nervous. You know, there are some noises at the park. They'd be left in a strange place. I love animals, but I don't want them in my camper. Obviously, we make an exception for service animals, as we are legally charged to do, but it is not a pet-friendly rental. There are tons in the area, though. And if you are looking to come to this area with your pet, I would be happy to recommend a pet-friendly rental. How long does it take to clean? So right now, I'm at about 2 hours to clean, and I am not a fast cleaner, but I do want to make sure to get everything clean in there. So I strip all of the bedding, all of the fabrics, the rug, the blankets, everything like that go. It's not a hotel where the comforter doesn't get washed. Everything gets washed. And I have multiple sets of everything. So all that gets stripped, everything gets cleaned, everything gets sanitized, scrubbed, and right now it's taking me about 2 hours. That said, I like being in there. So like I turn on the TV and I watch it while I do stuff. And you know, like I'm on Instagram and stuff, so you could probably do it faster. Next, do I have a second set of bedding? I actually have 3 full sets of bedding. I have tons of blankets. I want it to be as cozy as possible, and any blankets or anything that get used get washed between guests, because I don't want to run into somebody's like hair or something when I'm staying at a place. Not cool. All right, 3 full sets of bedding and a ton of spare towels and everything. After my first stay, originally I'd only bought 6 towels because I was thinking, 2, 4, 6, but then I realized I actually probably want to leave 4 towels, kind of 2 for each person every time there's a stay and people are using them. So after my first day, I had to rush to purchase some more towels. So it's also always good to have extras in case anything gets ruined. So I would actually like to have 4 sets, which is nuts, and that won't fit in there, but we shall see what my brain does. Makes me do. Next question, how do I handle the laundry? So there is a washer dryer at the RV park site that my guests have access to, but they don't have to do the laundry, my laundry there, or the camper's laundry. So I could use that. It is just like token laundry. So what I do actually is I just strip everything, bring it home to my house, wash it there, fold it up, and then bring it back. It's about 2 loads. Next, do I make a checklist for cleaning and sanitizing? Not right now. If I were to hire out cleaning, I would have that, but it's very easy to keep track of what needs to be done. I kind of work back to front in the camper and double check everything because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that. How long until I delegate cleaning? Honestly, I haven't even looked into how much having a cleaners come in. I don't know whether it's I have control issues and I don't want anything to be done wrong, or if I'm worried it's going to cost too much and I'm going to have to increase the cleaning rate and that's going to make it less affordable. I don't know whether it's I just don't value my time enough to not do it myself or what, but I will eventually need to delegate cleaning. This weekend I had a guest. It took the better part of my Sunday to go clean everything, blah, blah, blah. I know I said it only took me 2 hours, but getting there, coming back, kind of getting ready to go, kind of chilling after I got back, it took a decent part of my weekend. Right now I do have it set up to where I have 24 hours between for turnovers. So I don't have to get there at 11 a.m. before when people check out and clean it before 2 p.m. when new people come in. And I like that because I have a day job and I couldn't necessarily jump out in the middle of the day for a quick turnover. It also allows me to do late checkout and early check-in. So I've been offering my guests to stay until noon and to check in at noon because I have that 24-hour turnover. It's ready to go. And people have really appreciated that. So no, I have no idea when I'm going to delegate cleaning, probably when I get sick of the laundry. Next, do I see myself investing in more campers in the future? Yes, I love them. They're so great. I know I've been saying it costs $15,000, which is a lot of money. I used to make $1,600 a month and I had a ton of student loan debt. That was more than half of my salary back then. Now I make a little bit more money, but that's a really accessible price point to get into something that can make you money for real estate. I was able to cash flow the entire thing. I have another question coming up saying, do I have a mortgage on my Airbnb? I do not. I've been saving for my next real estate adventure since I bought my duplex 2 years ago, and I used money from that, and I've been just cash flowing it over the last couple of months, and it's been great. So I don't owe any money on it. Reasonably, I could sell it for more than what I've put in, which does make it an asset at this point. I've seen campers like this that are not even as cute as this sell for this much money or more, especially since I have the whole proof of concept that it works as an Airbnb. I could definitely sell it for more because it's essentially, it would be like a side hustle in a box that you could just purchase it and it's ready to go. I'm not going to do that. I love it, but I could. Yes, I will probably do the same thing to another camper or another cool type of stay in the future. I do think I'm going to get land first because it's harder than you think. It's harder than you think to find the right place. So next question, how hard was it to get booked and can I show you the listing? Yes, I will have the listing linked below. It's available on Airbnb currently. I need to put it on Vrbo as well, but it wasn't hard at all. I had my first booking within 3 days of posting it, and I have 5 total bookings scheduled right now. It's only been up for it's been up for less than a month. So I did not anticipate necessarily getting a ton of bookings in the winter, especially when school's out, but it hasn't been a huge problem. I'm not booked solid, but I have bookings, which is cool. Next, how did I pick a campground? So I toured all the campgrounds in the area with Jacob one day, and there are some that I did not want it to go in. There are some that are really run down, really shady. I wanted this to be in a really nice place. I picked kind of my top 3 and I contacted them. One said no Airbnb. The other 2 said, sure, we don't care. And I picked one of those 2. I picked my favorite out of those. And very fortunately, my very top choice was one of the ones that said, yes, it's very close to campus. It's beautiful. It's also near my house. So convenient all around. The management is fantastic. She runs a Verbo unit as well, so she totally understands. And yeah, it was easier than I thought, actually. Have I stayed in it to test it out? Yes, and I should have a video up by now on this that I will link below of Jacob and I and Maggie's stay in the camper. It was illuminating. Next, is it stressful to be on call 24/7 for guests? Yes, and this is one thing I didn't necessarily anticipate. I am kind of always worried about the camper and the guests and if they're having like a good time or not. Like, not just that the place is going to get ruined, but just like I want to know that they're doing okay, but I'm not going to like bug them. So yes, I have it set up to where if the guests message me on Airbnb, it goes directly to my phone. I've had like 2 questions so far. One was about like the heating and the other was about the air conditioner dripping. And both of those we were able to get fixed, or the air conditioner we were able to get fixed. The heating info I was able to give. I also have a really comprehensive guest book that tells you how to work everything in the camper. I think the last guest just didn't really look at it, but I also send a PDF copy of that to them beforehand. And if they, don't want to have to contact me with questions, that has pretty much everything in there, which I think is good. Hopefully that'll ease questions. I'm also making sure not to rent it when I am not going to be around. Next, what are unexpected hard things about hosting? Just worrying that the guests are having a good time. I didn't think I'd be that worried about them, but maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I shouldn't be. Next, how do I track expenses and income for my Airbnb? I actually use my budget, the same budget I've been using for years, and I sell on Etsy for like $8. It has a business income and expense tracker. This is the exact same one I use for my budget girl income, for my duplex income and expenses, and now I use it for Airbnb as well. I will link that below, and you can get one for yourself if you want. My tax guy is a fan of it because everything's in there. Next, what do I do with my profits? So as I said, I'm not super profitable yet. Right now, I'm just putting them back into my real estate investment fund, and eventually I'll use those for like the next real estate adventure. I do think I want to like make a printable where I can color in my recouping of expenses. I think that would be fun. Kind of like paying off my student loans, paying myself back with profits from Airbnb. Second to last question, is it as easy as I thought? Yes. I'm not sure I thought it was going to be easy. It does take time. This is not a passive income. If you want passive, go long-term rental or investments, like stock investments, but this is a little bit more active, and that's fine. I'm having a really good time with it. And final question, any moments of doubt or regret about the purchase or the stream of income? No, I'm actually pleased as a peach about it because I was able to get the camper together in just a few months. I learned so much. I was able to do so much of the work myself and save a ton of money that way, like painting it, and the feedback on it has been fantastic. The camper photos have actually been shared all over the freaking internet on like every tiny house group possible. Not crediting me for any single one, but I'm glad people like it. And I do think that it'll be a nice developing stream of income. It's really cool, and I love it. I love having this additional place to stay. I can go like work on budget girl stuff there if I wanted, or I could have family or friends come stay, and I'm really so excited about that, and I love it. I really do. It's absolutely fantastic, and I wouldn't have been able to do this if I wouldn't have been willing to make this gamble or put that much money into something if I didn't pay off my debt and have a good financial footing now. It's important to say that. And if you're just getting started and wanting to do something like this, I recommend maybe renting out a room in your home or doing something that is a little bit lower cost versus purchasing an entire home, trying to make it into an Airbnb, and it being a really stressful thing where you have to make this income back because you have a mortgage to pay. I understand that's probably a very privileged thing to say, that I had the opportunity to do this a little bit lower risk, but I do think it's an important thing to note on all levels. So, all right, I would love to hear any other questions that you guys have about my camper rental hosting or anything in this vein, and I would love it if you subscribed. I'm all about being transparent about these things, so if I'm screwing up, I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to tell you how I fixed it or learned from it, and that's just the way things are going to happen here. So follow to see that. If everything comes burning down, I'll keep you in the loop. Speaking of which, you can also check out this video I did on a camper that I bought before the AG Wagon that was a terrible investment and I almost lost money on it, but that did not stay. It was a learning experience. So go check out that video as well, and I will see you guys next time.